Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
This is Geek Tank Radio, and today it's being brought to you by, Allan Gilbreth, Brandon Olmsted, Alissa Diggs, and Christy Kirshner, with the amazing Max behind the board.
Where's Joe?
Because, somebody buggered off. So, we got, he is out, we're going to call it, he is out on assignment. So,
is that what you want to call it?
That's what we're going to call it. We're going to leave it right there, unless you know more than I do, Brandon.
I'm going to say shirking his responsibilities for other responsibilities.
Well,
we know which one's more important.
That happens.
I like to think he's on a self-discovery. An eat, pray, love.
And eat,
Eat, pray, love moment.
It's all sandwiches.
All right, that's going to happen at Buc-ee's.
Or deep dish pizza.
That could happen there too. It could. Okay, first question of the day. We just had a massive celestial event last night. Did you get to see the Northern Lights in Memphis, Tennessee, of all things?
Well, no, I didn't, because nothing slowed down long enough at work for me to go look at them until almost 4 in the morning. But, friends of mine who live just outside of the city felt the need to let me know just how beautiful it is if I go out in the country. And it's like, me in the country and bugs and nature hates me.
Well, that's true.
So I'm not going out there.
That's true. Well, actually, nature doesn't hate you. They regard you as a buffet.
No. I'm not talking. Nature across the board, from grass spore to bugs, everything tries to kill me. It's like I'm in Australia, Alan.
It is. It is pretty much.
If it's any consolation, gentlemen, our good buddy Jeremy Veldman from the Memphis Astronomical Society got to rub it in our face.
Yes, he did. He got
does.
all excited. And a big friend of the show from Haunted History in New Orleans upped us all. She won the lottery for the Northern Lights.
Well,
because she got to see it from Dracula's castle in Romania. Well,
I mean, and of course, all of that right across that that line, that latitude line, they got to see it on the low end of the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's the way to see it. And if you were here in the States, you had to be around Houston to see it like that. And Alan, you're the only one of us that would survive in Houston.
No, that's true. I'm from there. So, New Orleans was a lot of fun. I have friends calling me freaking out. It was great.
Yeah.
Is she immortal now?
That's a really good question with her.
Khalila's been immortal for a lot longer than that.
It could happen. It could happen. All right. Well, the big thing we want to talk about next is we've got a ComicCon coming to Memphis on May 18th. So I would like to introduce Sarah Insch from the Memphis Public Library. And, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All righty. So we have a ComicCon. What you got? We'll throw out where did this idea start and begin, and where is it going to be?
So in my department, the Humanities Department, we have a vast section of graphic novels and manga. And we get asked on a daily basis, where's the comic book section? And we noticed how many patrons were coming in and requesting superhero comics or manga. And we thought we should do something with the community that involves the nerds and the geeks, what have you. So last year, we put together our very first Memphis Public Library's ComicCon, and we had some Mike Norton and John Osterman, I think, as the special guest.
Okay.
John Ostrander.
Thank you.
Huge contributor to the Suicide Squad.
Right. And this is our first time, so we didn't know what to expect, but we were overwhelmed by the amount of people that showed up. It was over 300 people walking around with the vendors. We had more than 45 vendors, and we got some really positive feedback, and a lot of people were like, please do this again. So we decided, let's go bigger. So this year, we're back, and, there are a lot of conventions in the area, in the Mid-South, thankfully, but one of the unique things about hosting a Comic-Con at a library is it's 100% free to the public. And vendors can table for free. all they had to do was give 10% of their earnings to the Memphis Library Foundation, who sponsored the event. And we are completely full this year, though. I was told to say that. But we're going to have, big names like 901 Comics, Novel's going to be there. We're going to have people selling their wares and toys and collectibles, stuff like that. But this is also a great opportunity for aspiring vendors who want to go to bigger cons to just get their feet wet, see how they're selling, and I think it's a great opportunity. And so that's the origin story.
Okay, well that's very admirable. I'm glad the first year event went so well. You did so well last year. You looked at it and said, we're doing it again. So now what have you loaded up for this year?
That's the trap. I've been working in conventions for 33 years now?
33, yeah, at least.
And you much longer than I.
Yeah, my first convention was in 1978. Don't do the math. So what have we got coming up now I am going to say this is going to be at the Benjamin L. Hooks Central Library. This is going to be in the main lobby. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that haven't been to this building yet, you really owe it to yourself to pop in. This is a magnificent building. It's very well designed. And when we say the main lobby, don't think it's just walk in and there's a little bitty empty space and a sofa. This is a grand area of very well laid out, very, very large. So you can fit, you said you had 300 people last year. I would dare say you can fit quite a few more than that in that main lobby.
Absolutely. This year, we're going to have over 50 vendors. So that's like the marketplace area. It's a little overwhelming at points if you haven't been to a con before, but it's definitely a great first time for those who may not have ever considered going to a comic book convention and may not have, have access to paying for admittance to other ones. But we're hoping to reach people that haven't ever considered comic books as literature we have something for everyone.
Excellent. Well, tell you what, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back to find out more.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Joe Thordarson wore a Godzilla costume to his senior prom. The Geek Patrol is back.
Had to pay homage to our fallen ally.
Well, I want those pictures. I really want those pictures. Alrighty, so this is Allan Gilbert, and I'm sitting with Brandon Olmsted, Alissa Diggs, Christy Kirchner, and the amazing Max behind the panel. And we are sitting here with Sarah Insch, and we are looking at the Memphis ComicCon coming up on May 18th. It is going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Benjamin L. Hooks Central Library. It is going to be in the main lobby. There is no admittance fee. This is completely free to the public. So let's talk a little bit more about who do you have coming for this.
This year, we brought in Matt Wagner.
Okay.
And he's best known for his indie works Grendel and Mage.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have Gene Ha, who has been showcased in Starman, Superman, and most recently, Wonder Woman Historia. So Matt and Gene are going to be doing book signings.
Okay.
And they'll take part in a panel discussion at 1 p.m. But I also need to mention, and please don't tell Emperor Palpatine, but a reliable source tells me that Darth Vader himself will make an appearance. He might find him strolling around the lobby floor, and he'll meet and take pictures with his fans.
That is not the first or last time we have seen Lord Vader out wandering around in the public. So it does happen. It does happen. All right, so this is fantastic. So for Matt and Gene, big thing here is, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great example to go meet people who are making a living in the arts.
Yes. And this panel discussion will give them an opportunity to talk about what it's like to be comic book creators and artists, and possibly inspire those who want to get into the field and just their experience. Matt Wagner was really big he had a hit in the 80s with Grendel, and there's been a lot of exciting buzz about people who really want to see him there. And Gene's amazing. He's actually gonna draw the cosplay contest winners as an additional prize. And I just think it's really cool that he can just do that real quick. Artists are awesome. It
is scary watching them work sometimes. They just walk up to a blank canvas and absolute magic happens almost instantly. Memphis is blessed with a number of cartoonists that are in the area. Yeah. We have an amazing array of local artists, and since you're going to have vendors and everything available, I'm going to highly advocate that people come out and go check out the booths, because there's going to be from every other convention I've attended, there's going to be a wide variety of absolutely amazing artwork and other items for sale.
100%. We're not divvying up like vendors and artists. We're kind of throwing them all in the mix. So you kind of have to make a giant loop to see everyone. Oh. And that's going to expose people to more and more artists and, comic book vendors that they might not have heard of before. Okay,
fantastic. Now, I also see on here that it says you're going to have a children's story time.
Yes. At 11 in the children's storytime room, they're going to be reading a book about Spider-Man, and there'll be a craft to accompany that, and then it'll follow with a children's costume parade so they can show off the crafts they made. Nice. The crafts are going to be superhero capes and masks. They can decorate them and design them how they want, and then they'll have the floor to just be the superhero that they created. It's really cute.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, I'm also looking at a variety of, you have a lot of events going on. You are also going to have face painting.
Yes, that was a huge draw last year.
Yes.
The line was to the door. So we got 2 face painters this year to hopefully cover that.
It's never enough.
Now, is that 2 face painters, or is in 2 face painters that paint Two-Face?
Oh.
Wow.
Well, you could go for both. It could be 2 mints in one. So if somebody wants to be Two-Face, I have a feeling a face painter can do that. Having done face painting at a wide variety of events over the years, let me tell you, that line forms fast. And it is amazing what you get asked to turn people into. It is hilarious. Now, I see on here also you've got arts and crafts.
Yes, that's going to be the capes and masks. We're going to have a table for that as well after the story time. So you'll get to do the craft in the story time, but also anybody who wants to make one, that'll be in the children's area. And it's fun coming up with ideas for comic book related crafts. And we hope to expand this in future years, but we ran out of the last year's craft within the first couple of hours.
Well, I've seen the crowds of kids that come in for just, your typical, like when they would do story time and whatnot. And back in the old days when, I don't know if y'all still do it, but the Friday night events every so often. And I mean, because I used to do security at the Benjamin Hooks Library. And the amount of kids who just go in there and they love everything from the multicolors in the children's section to, well, they like to ride on the glass elevators too. But, that was, but with as much as the community loves your building, I can see everybody wanting to bring their kids out to this. So, guys, I'm going to say get there early. If you want to get in on the crafts and you want to get the face painting, you need to get there early.
And that brings up an interesting point, because the first 200 people through the door when we start at 10 a.m., International Paper has graciously funded the ability for us to give out free graphic novels.
That's so
and
cool.
That ranges for graphic novels for all ages. You've got Demon Slayer for the teens. We've got some children's graphic novels and little golden books. And we're also giving out titles for adults like Batman Year One, and these are trade paperback stuff. So
nice.
Excellent. All right, so we've got just an amazing amount of stuff piled up. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have children's story time. You're going to have arts and crafts. You're going to have a parade for everybody to show off all the good things they made. Mm-hmm. So when we come back, we'll chat a little bit more about what else the Memphis Public Library ComicCon has got to offer.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
I hate these nerds. Just because I'm stupider than them, they think they're smarter than me.
It's true.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. This is Allan Gilbert. I'm sitting here with my buddies, Brandon Olmsted, Alissa Diggs, Christy Kirshner, and the amazing Max behind the panel. And we are sitting here talking with Sarah Insch, and we are talking about the Memphis Public Library ComicCon coming up on May 18th from 10 p.m. to 3 p.m. And
10 a.m., Allan.
I'm sorry.
That's a much longer time.
10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
We close at 6 p.m.
Yeah, you close at 6. Yeah, so I'm still on Northern Light time. So
the Celestials always mess with your brain.
They do. There's always some kind of mind control involved in comic books. So, all right. So let's just kind of massive recap of you've got Matt Wagner, massive hit with Grendel back in the day. He is going to be available and doing a panel. You're going to have Gene Ha, who is even graciously going to do a drawing demonstration and going to draw your contest winners.
Yeah, for the cosplay contest.
That's amazing. Yeah. That if you've never, I'm going to throw in one thing. If you've never walked up behind an artist like Gene or Greg Cravens or some of the other wonderful artists we have around the areas and watch them work, it is astounding. You didn't know a Sharpie marker could do that. It's just astounding because I could barely draw a stick figure if you held a gun on me. So it just not, I look at them and I'm just utterly amazed at what they can do. Now, you're also going to be featuring of different types of contests, arts and crafts, face painting. I pity those lines. Face painting is going to be huge. I hope they got buckets. Of makeup because that's going to be huge. The children's story time sounds fantastic. So basically, you're going to have a very, very full few hours.
Oh, yes.
So 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So let me throw in my favorite topic. So what happens during this if, lunchtime hits and you're hungry?
We've got food trucks.
There we go. Everybody in the room lights up. So I assume we'll have local food truck vendors.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Rico's Kickin' Chicken is
Ooh.
Yeah, Allan drools outside their truck.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very familiar with almost every food truck in town. So,
and I believe we're gonna have a snow cone food truck and also a hot dog cart.
Awesome, that is awesome. So very good. So there will be food outside the library. Inside the main library is just going to be people wall to wall. I highly advocate you get there early. Don't wait, because now when is the, what was that at 11 o'clock? What did you have?
Well, at 11 o'clock, we have the trivia competition, and that's actually going to be in the meeting rooms.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be a little bit away from the hustle and bustle. I did the trivia last year. It was, I was not expecting that many people to show up. But it's going to...
Never underestimate the nerdity.
I know. It was very competitive.
Yeah.
Oh, you had no idea they would know the answer to everything, did you?
Oh, no idea. And I have to balance, like, I want to make it accessible and easy for those who don't know, like, trivia and how it works, but also it can't be too easy because...
they will plow you under if it's too easy.
And I don't know if you came across this last year, and hopefully you won't come across it again this year. If you did, there's always somebody who goes, well, technically, and wants to give you the right answer in their eyes, even though you've got the answer right there. It's like they want to give you the origin of the answer, and it's like, I appreciate that, but we've got a bunch of people, and I've got to get through 20 more trivia questions before we wrap this up in an hour.
I did have 2 people.
Yeah.
And I made very clear in the rules, like, this is a public library. We're playing for a gift card.
Right.
But
I'm going for the answer on the page. Yeah.
I've had it happen at a Buffalo Wild Wings on trivia night because one guy thought that technically his answer was absolutely correct, and it's like they derailed the whole game. It was like
I was wondering if you guys might know this trivia answer from last year. Do you know Elvis Presley's favorite superhero? It was a multiple choice question, but I cannot remember all the.
I mean, I can tell you Jerry Lawler's is Batman.
Well, that's because he drew Batman.
That's I've also sat with him at many tables at various cons over the years.
Yeah, I don't remember meeting Elvis at too many conventions pre to 77.
But we know this.
I bet Max does.
Captain Marvel Jr.
Correct.
Never underestimate the power of a producer.
But we're going to have more than just superhero questions. I'm really excited for this year. I don't know my costume yet, but I have an idea that the Quizler, which is a Riddler-based character that you can see on our Instagram video for promoting ComicCon, might show up and cause a little mischief.
And I want to go ahead and tell you guys, cosplayers out there, you need to go to this event. If nothing else, to take your cosplay photos in that lobby as the light comes through and hits those prisms. It is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous backdrop to have your costumes done in.
And Brandon, I'm not trying to sound silly, but with regards to cosplay, from the experience of a cosplayer myself, choose your cosplays tactically because it's near the summer. And I made the terrible mistake of my first Dragon Con in the blazing heat of wearing a ghillie suit.
Oh. Yeah, no.
Oh, Max,
no, don't do
I
that.
need pictures of that, man.
Cosplay is going to be a registered event, although we might have room the day of to sign up, but that's going to close out the con, and the prizes for first place, it's a $100 Amazon gift card and $75 for second, $50 for third. You know, basic cosplay at convention rules apply. This is a family-friendly event, no weapons, et cetera, but you can register for that on the Memphis Library website. And I just want to plug real quick, for teens and tweens ages 10 to 18, we're going to try something new this year. We're going to do a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Tournament in Cloud 901, which is our Teen Innovation Center. And the subcommittee behind this has put in a lot of work to just pull this off. Registration is getting to be, yes. So cool. For if you're 10 to 18 and like video games,
there you go.
Try it out.
It's going to be there. All right. So let's look at, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to look at the wrap up for the Memphis Public Library ComicCon on May 18th.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Please, you give me too little credit.
Yeah, that's about as much credit as it's going to get. So, this is Allan Gilbreth, and I am sitting here with Brandon Olmsted, Alissa Diggs, Christy Kirshner, and the amazing Max behind the panel. And this is Geek Tank Radio, and we are talking to, well, the Memphis Public Library about their ComicCon coming up on May 18th. It is going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., so you're only going to have a few hours to dive into the lobby of the Benjamin L. Hook Central Library. And I've got to tell you, they are cramming as much stuff into this building as they can possibly fit in here. We're going to start with food trucks out front. So you got something to eat. You're ready to come in the door. And here we go. We're going to have free graphic novels for the first 200 people that come in. Thank you, International Paper. We're going to have Matt Wagner from Grendel. We're going to have Gene Ha from his litany of comic books events. They are going to be available. They're even going to be doing a panel. Did I hear that correctly? Mm-hmm. All right. We've got a trivia contest. We've got a cosplay contest. We've got a Smash Brothers competition going on. You're going to have breakout rooms. You're going to have arts and crafts, parades, contest, cosplay. Am I missing anything? Because you've already got a lot going on.
Allan, you forgot to mention vendors.
Oh, well, I was going to look at her and say, tell us all about all the cool stuff that you can now come find, see, and buy. Right? It's not a tease. They can actually walk in, fall in love with a piece of art, and take it home.
Yes.
Awesome. What you got? You got artists?
Artists selling their various merchandise. There will be some comic book vendors and memorabilia vendors.
Now, when it comes to memorabilia vendors, let me tell you, folks, those are nostalgia bombs.
Right.
Because you will walk up to that table and there will be a toy from your childhood sitting there that you haven't seen in 10 years, 20 years, 40 years. And suddenly you just realize how badly you just have to have that. You really do. Of memorabilia, absolutely one of the best parts of going to a convention.
I have to ask, will there be Legos?
Possibly.
If somebody brings them, they might be there. She's looking in absolute terror at you, Max, right now. Like, what do you mean, Legos?
No.
They could be, depends on what the vendors bring.
Right.
So now you're going to have a wide variety of artists.
Yes.
So, and again, if you've never been to a convention, ladies and gentlemen, this is your chance to meet people at all different levels in their careers in the arts. Because everybody has an art person in the family. And, sometimes the arts get downplayed as being a possibility for either a great side gig or a great career. And I know the library does a great job with all of its other programs. So besides just the con, what does the humanities programs have to offer?
Well, just from my department, we've got writing workshops. We have the Japanese Culture Club that got started last year. For the entire system, we have computer classes broken down by what you need. Resume writing workshops. There's a lot going on, and it's all on our library's website. But Humanities' big event, and this is one of the biggest events, is ComicCon, and we hope to just continue it in the future. And the sky is the limit for what we can continue to do. So we're really looking forward to it, and we're looking for feedback from this year's event.
Okay, so last year, basically, you had about how many people?
Over 300.
Over 300 people.
Now, they were walking in and out all day, but definitely at one point, there was 150 people in the lobby for sure at one time.
And so the number could have actually been quite a bit higher.
Right.
It's just wasn't 300 people all at once. It was 300 people over the event.
Yes.
I expect to get a lot more than that this year. Because once you have one successful event, they have a tendency to grow exponentially.
That's very true.
So I would plan on somewhere in the, 500 to 1,000 people this year. So that, so we're wishing you the best of luck and also giving you our experience with conventions going, let's give you a couple of little warnings.
Thank you.
Brandon is an expert.
How many children who we were not expecting for our very first Geek 101 at MCFC at the Hilton? Did we
the 1,200 children that turned into 3,000?
There were supposed to be 1,200, and it was over 3,000 by the time it was all said and done. And that was in the span of a 4-hour period in the morning. We weren't even fully set up when folks started showing up. I'm not trying to give you horror stories, but they exist.
Well, imagine not have heard about this event, but then showing up to check out some books, and you walk into this lobby full of fun and color, and just a community gathering together over their shared love of nerddom.
Oh, and dude, that is exactly how it goes, man. And Memphis will show out for your events like this. And you'll always hear, I didn't know Memphis had these kind of events. And once the bug gets in there, you're addicted, and you've got to go to all of them. And the con community in Memphis alone is an amazing group of people. Everybody from the smallest little events to Anime Blues, which is the biggest event we have right now as far as number of attendees every year. And we all try and support each other. So we'll definitely be singing your praises one way or the other.
Thanks.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sarah Insch, and she has been from the Library Humanities Department, and we have been talking about, the Memphis Public Library's ComicCon. Let's see if I can get all the information correct here. May 18th, it's going to begin at 10 a.m. It's going to end at 3 p.m. So get there. Do not hesitate. Don't think you're going to wander in later. You only got so much access. And there's going to be everything from celebrities, artists, local vendors, lots and lots of events, everything the library normally has to offer, plus everything extra. And it's all free.
100%.
Well, I don't think you can offer anything any better. What do you think, Brandon?
Well, the only way is if you paid me to be there, and that's not going to happen. We know what's in the budget, but yeah, I'll be there.
I said the sky's the limit, Brandon. How about next year?
Well,
we'll talk about that.
All right, they're gonna cut a deal off air. So this is Allan Gilreath from my friends here at Geek Tank Radio, and everybody go to the event and have a great day.